Welcome to On It with Stevens Life. I'm Olivia Odell.
And I'm Leslie Nielsen. We begin with this week's top stories.
Residential assistants are a group of young women who exemplify the characteristics of a leader. This semester, Res Life has hired on 4 new women to the Res Life team. These RAs include Donna Walker, Dana Hegeman, Alexandra Prestia Turner, and Haley Johnson. Donna Walker, a freshman, theater major from Texas, now heads Prunty third floor. Dana Hegman, a freshman biology major from Warrington, Missouri, and a member of the basketball team, is the RA of Pillsbury fourth floor. Alexandra Prestia Turner, freshman theater major from Colorado, covers CRC fourth floor. And Stevens Life's very own Haley Johnson, a sophomore fashion communication major from Lexington, Missouri, is now the RA of Tower second floor. These women have big shoes to fill for the remainder of the semester, but with their drive to bring residents together and create a better sense of community for Stevens, they will do just fine.
Haley Johnson, huh? Wow, what a great person and a great Stevens staff. Now, we're going to go to Olivia.
I think it's her plan now to head over for the interview from Head of Security, Tony Coleman.
Thanks, Olivia. And thanks for joining us today, Tony.
Glad to be here.
What initiatives has security undertaken this year that differ from last year?
Well, 2 of the biggest things, first off, we've added an additional security officer to our full-time staff. That is a very big addition as far as the visibility of security on campus goes. The other one is the addition of security cameras throughout campus, which has been a project that we've been working on for some time, and finally it came about this year.
Well, that's neat. I understand that there were active shooter training sessions taking place. Why did you feel the need for those?
The timing was right. I mean, unfortunately, you hate for a tragedy to happen, but anytime one does, such as what happened back in December at Newtown, Connecticut, it makes you want to take a look at the things that you're doing on campus, to look at your policies, the procedures that you have in place. And we felt that the time was right to kind of address that and to bring an awareness, if you will, to our campus community about these type of incidents.
And how do you feel those sessions turned out?
I wish that we would have had more student turnout, and we're probably going to do those again. Just to get more involvement, but we were able to reach nearly the entire faculty and staff population on campus over the 2-week period that we did the several sessions.
So do you feel that faculty is more prepared to deal with an incident like this now?
Yeah, and the training was geared toward awareness and being able to provide just some information that should they ever find themselves, whether it be here or in some other environment, that they're able to think back and remember and be able to make quick decisions that might impact their personal safety as well as those around them, which would include students.
Yeah, another question is, I understand that your security office is relocating. When and where?
That come about for a couple of reasons. One, of course, I mentioned the addition of the cameras. We needed more space for our video wall, and also the renovations that they're doing to Rob Lee. So the timing was there, and after we looked at different locations, we felt that relocating over into the tower basement was most conducive for the setup that we needed, and plus it's going to benefit the students in tower because the washer and dryers will be moved to the floors this summer instead of just in the lounge.
Awesome.
So, but it'll provide us a nicer space, a bigger space for the things that we need to do.
Well, thank you for all of your service, and thanks for joining us. Back to you, Leslie.
Thanks, Haley. Students had many opinions about the job security does around campus, but it is really clear that they are taking measures to ensure our safety.
I agree. Our security team is actually a group of pretty comical men and women. I laugh at the way they drive around the cars as if they're actual cars.
I know, right? It's really crazy. It's either that or take Fast Cat around campus, but I don't think President Lynch covered them with that deal. We go to Jessica Langford with more on that. Jessica?
Thanks, Leslie. The newest addition to Columbia Transit bus routes makes its way throughout the campuses of Stevens and MU. But how helpful has it really been thus far? Sophomore fashion design major Jada West believes that the buses are pointless. While they connect the buses and go downtown, they don't go to the more popular places that are harder for students to reach. So, the free services are here and they're always available for the locals, and hopefully it'll make their lives slightly less stressful and getting them to the destinations throughout downtown and around campus and whatnot. And to find out more information about FastCat, connect or to contact them at 573-874-7282, or you can contact them at ridefastcat.com. Back to you, Olivia.
Thanks, Jessica. I kind of like that we have access to our own bus, which is not really necessary getting around campus, but it might make us more aware of what's going on in Columbia.
I agree completely. For example, many students are unaware of the upcoming True False Film Festival.
Okay, well, from February 28th through March 3rd, Columbia will host documentary filmmakers from around the globe, showing their films and leading discussions about their subjects in the first festival. The first festival occurred in the summer of 2003, and the annual event has been growing ever since. Some of the films that can be seen at this year's festival include Blackfish, Dirty Wars, No, and Pandora's Promise. Passes for the festival are now available. They will also have a box office set up on 1012 Broadway where tickets can be purchased. For a complete list of show times and films, go to the True False website, www.truefalse.org.
Films are one source of entertainment, and we're going to kick down to Emily to talk about another. This semester, Stevens Theater Department is producing The Tempest. Emily?
Thanks, Leslie. William Shakespeare's The Tempest was put on last weekend and will continue with shows tonight and throughout the weekend. Polly Meidinger, a second-year theater major, stage managed the show. Meidinger has managed 6 shows before, but none like The Tempest. She said the most memorable part of the production process has been working with the musical composer from New York. Meidinger is fascinated by how the music is added to the production. So listen for it if you go. Back to the news desk.
Thanks, Emily. The theater department is filled with talented women and guest artists. I have no doubt that this show will be an amazing production of my favorite Shakespeare plays.
Oh, I've gone to a couple of the plays, and they've been absolutely phenomenal. So much talent and passion.
Speaking of remarkable women, let's go down to Tyler with her coverage of Black History Month. Tyler?
Thank you, Leslie. With Valentine's Day out of the way, we can focus on a celebration that lasts the entire month. While Stevens has no set plans for this year's celebration, plan some way to organize the occasion for yourself. Columbia has a little Black history of its own. Make time to visit the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial at Battle Garden on 800 West Stadium Boulevard. It is named for Dr. Muriel Battle, who passed away in 2003. She was an educator, historic leader, and activist, and she was the first West Junior High School African-American teacher, later on to be the principal and Columbia, Missouri, Columbia School District's first female superintendent. Here at Stevens, we love to see a female make her own way. To visit this site is located a few miles from Stevens. Who would have ever guessed that we have a piece of history in our own backyard? I'm Tyler Polson with the Blast from the Past. Back to you, Olivia.
Thanks, Tyler. It's great that we recognize such a powerful Black woman. One Black woman I admire for her sense of style, as well as her substance, is Michelle Obama. And I heard her husband made some sort of speech this week. Leslie, have you happened to watch the State of the Union?
Yes, Olivia, I actually did. I got a really good chance. He covered a lot of the same issues as in his inaugural address, but spoke more specifically about what he planned to do about them. Things like taxes and the national debt deficit, as well as immigration, loomed large as he talked about the cost of higher education. One thing students were really surprised about, though, was that he saved one of their biggest concerns for last, gun control. Gun control came up much later in the speech than they anticipated. Overall, it was a good speech, if a bit long.
Yes, and he was longer with all the applause.
Still, I have no doubt that Obama will do what he can to accomplish what he outlined in the speech, but he definitely has a lot of work to do in his second term.
Well, another major event this week was the Grammys. For coverage, let's go to Colby.
Thanks, Olivia. This year's Grammy Awards ceremony was quite a snore, if you ask me. I should have known this year's show would not be mind-blowing when CBS announced that this year's show would enforce a strict dress code, which consisted of mandatory coverage of women's buttocks and cleavages. I guess the final laugh was on CBS because Katy Perry and Jennifer Lopez did not get the memo. Next, I could have lived without old school rapper turned actor LL Cool J as host. I thought the host was supposed to change outfits throughout the show. I guess he decided to start a new trend that ultimately was a fail. Finally, the performances were lackluster, especially the awkward moment when Miguel began singing his hit Adorn and Wiz Khalifa appeared from the audience to rap his verse on the song. The entire performance lasted about 2 minutes and ended with the performers lamely posed, waiting on an applause. I felt they could have chosen better artists to perform their top hits from 2012, or even a performance from Mr. Gangnam Style would have added a little spice to the show. Overall, the show seemed thrown together just like Kelly Clarkson's embarrassing acceptance speech. Hopefully, the Oscars will deliver for fashion and entertainment where the Grammys failed. Thanks. Oh, thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Chloe. Changing gears a bit, we leave the world of entertainment and continue with the story of international significance. The current Pope, Pope Benedict XVI, announced his resignation on Monday, surprising all but his closest advisors and prompting reactions from Catholics and non-Catholics around the world. The leader of the church, which has about 1.2 billion members worldwide, cited growing health concerns as a reason for his resignation, something that has not been done in a few centuries. In his official statement, the pontiff, who will turn 86 in April, said that his strength has been declining and he has had to recognize his incapacity to adequately fulfill the ministry entrusted to him. In the same statement from the Vatican, the Pope said that he will continue serving the Lord through a life dedicated to prayer. Pope Benedict XVI will serve until the end of the month, in which the College of Cardinals will meet to elect his replacement. Whomever they choose, he will be responsible for addressing Catholics during the celebration of Easter Mass, which will occur on March 31st this year. And though that seems a long way off, it is actually the end of the Lenten season that began on Wednesday. For more on that, we go to Danny Kelly. Danny?
Thanks, Leslie. I'm Danny Kelly. The liturgical or worship season of Lent has begun, and the scramble to give something up for 6 weeks adds more pressure to those who wish to stick to their New Year's resolution and to follow the Christian tradition. In an email interview with Father Adam Johnson, Diocese of Kansas City, St. Joseph, said Lent is a liturgical season of preparation culminating in the holiest days of the Catholic calendar year, the Paschal Triduum, from Holy Thursday from Easter Sunday. To get a better understanding of what Lent means, Father Johnson said there are 3 things Catholics do during the season of Lent. They increase their time in prayer, they fast, and they give alms to the poor. I was curious to learn about if and what peers on our campus were giving up, so I took to Stamper Dining Hall to get the scoop. Do you know what today is?
It's Lent Day.
Very good. And what are you giving up for Lent?
I'm giving up 2 things. I'm giving up Stamper desserts, which is going to be kind of hard, and I'm also giving up boys, in the sense that, no, I am, for reals. People always complain about how they are single and they don't have boyfriends, but I'm going to be happy with myself the way that I am.
You know what today is?
The day before Valentine's Day. No, I'm just
Good one.
kidding. Wait, is it Lent?
Today is Lent.
Yeah, it's Lent.
All right, and what are you giving up for Lent?
For Lent, I decided to give up online shopping.
Wow, that's wow.
Yeah, tragic, I know.
And how do you think it's gonna work out?
Not too well, but we'll see.
Do you know what today is?
Lent.
Very good. What are you giving up for Lent?
Meat.
And why is that?
I don't know. I think it's important to like fast and give up something and take time to like reflect. So giving up meat.
That's very, very thoughtful. Thank you so much for sharing.
No problem.
Do you know what today is?
The first day of Ash Wednesday.
Very good. Very good. All right, so what are you giving up for Lent?
I don't know yet.
All right, and are you giving anything up for Lent?
No, I am not this year.
Do you have any reason behind it?
No, not necessarily. I was raised Catholic, but I just decided not to carry on the tradition, so.
That's totally fine. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Lent ends on March 30th. Check back at the end of March to see how Lent went for everyone. Until then, back to you, Olivia.
Thanks, Danny. I actually have friends who aren't even Catholic, who participate in Lent. It's a good test of character and how resistant to temptation you are.
Yeah, giving up something that I love for 40 days and 40 nights is a challenge. Facebook would be really hard for me to give up.
I think that would be impossible for me too. On the topic of Facebook, let's go down a